And we are talking with Amelia Junker at the Salem-South Lyon District Library. Welcome, Amelia.
Thanks for having me.
All right, it's been a while. I think it was probably warm weather. Things were kind of starting to open up a bit more there at the library. Some more services are being provided as well. But it's been like 6 months, I think, since we last spoke with you. So what's currently going on? What is open at the library? Have more things opened up? Or you shut down a bit more? Or where do we stand right now as far as services there at the library?
Well, the library is still open to the public. We are limiting visits to 30 minutes, and that's just to ensure safety for everyone. You do have to wear a mask over your mouth and nose when you enter and are in the building. But when you're in the building, you can browse our collections. You can look at all the movies, the music. You can sit by the fireplace and read our newspapers for 30 minutes. You can even use our computers, our fax machine, our scanners, copiers, whatever. We are open to the public.
Good.
We have currently suspended getting donations. And so if you do have those books, if you're cleaning out your closet, if you're Marie Kondoing for the new year, just put them to one side for just a few weeks, maybe. Okay. We were sorting our donations and quarantining them outside. And with the inclement weather, it's just not really ideal to have people standing out there for 4 hours to sort through books. So we will get back to it. We will. We're just trying to figure out a new way of doing things now that the snow has seemed to stuck.
Exactly. And plus, if you do have those books at home, maybe read through them one more time before donating.
Yeah, do you really want to get rid of them, or do you want to keep them? So. Exactly. But for those of you who are missing our Friends book sale room, we do have carts of books at the very front of the building. So if you wanted to come in and peruse our Friends sale items from donations that we previously accepted, there's a little donation box there. You can, leave as you can. We know that times are tough for folks. And if you don't want to enter the building at all, we are still offering curbside pickup options for picking up our take and make craft kits, our books, our movies. We can even facilitate paying fines through curbside. You just bring the money in an envelope. That's all we ask, so that we're not chasing after dollar bills in the parking lot.
Unmarked $1 bills are well accepted. So excellent. So
we want them to be legit. Come on now, we want them to be legit.
Exactly. Well, they can just not be marked. So anyway. But so it sounds like things are fairly well open there at the library. Good set of services available, as though it was before COVID and so forth. Some limitations, obviously some precautions taken in place, limiting some time at the library to 30 minutes. So that sounds great. But I also know there's some cool things coming up here in the very near term, in the not too distant future, and some big events coming up here too. So if you could speak a little bit about those events.
Yeah, so the library was one of 50 institutions across the nation that were selected to receive a $1,200 Lift Every Voice programming grant. And so we use that money, considering social distancing and the virtual environment of events. We have a few events planned for virtual, but we also have a traveling exhibit from the Michigan State University Museum titled "Welcome to Idlewild, the Black Eden of Michigan." And so a lot of people aren't familiar with this, or if they've heard of it, they really didn't know where it is. It was actually like right around here somewhere, and it was formed in the late 1910s, early 1920s as an entertainment scene for African American community. And there's a whole history behind who performed there, who what took place, and how it survived the challenges of historic change. Very cool. So there are 10 banners that tell the story of Idlewild, and then there's also this beautiful reproduction of an Idlewild history quilt by Michigan quilter Deonna Todd Green, and that is on display right now in the library from now until the end of February. Cool. So you can come, you can be socially distanced from everybody, and you can spend a 30-minute visit just kind of perusing the banners and learning about Michigan history that a lot of people aren't familiar with.
Very cool. And for those out-of-state visitors or out-of-state watchers, the little gesture that Amelia just made was simply the lower peninsula of Michigan. So all of us in Michigan know exactly what that means.
The geography, right? It's right around here.
Exactly, lower peninsula. So.
Yeah, and it's mirrored, so I had to be very cognizant.
When I did it, I'm kind of, wait a minute, which side is it? So which side do you decide? Which
way does it show up on the screen? If it's backwards, I'm sorry, that's the magic of Zoom, is it just reverses our state.
Exactly. But that's what that was. So great. So that's a kind of cool exhibit coming around. But there's also a music thing coming up, isn't there?
Yes. So again, part of the grant funding that we received, what is helping us bring ML Liebler back. And some of you might remember him from the Motown anniversary from 2 years ago. He and his band did a great Beatles show just before the pandemic hit back in January of last year. If anyone remembers that, we packed the room. But of course, we can't pack the room anymore. So he is bringing and sharing stories and songs from his newest book, which was recognized as a Michigan Notable book just like last week. His book's titled Respect, the Poetry of Detroit Music. And so it focuses on the lyricists of the Michigan music scene, everything from R&B to hip hop to blues to Motown. And because we couldn't get the band together in person, ML has reached out across the country to bring a whole bunch of different artists and poets to the scene, so to speak, including Desiree Cooper, Reverend Robert B. Jones, Tyrone William, Lolita Hernandez, and Melba Joyce Boyd with Marion Hayden. And so it's a really great evening of music and poetry. It's going to take place on Friday, January 15th, which is coming up really fast. As of this recording, it's coming up in about a week. And it's 7 p.m. You have to register for this event through our website, which is ssldl.info. Click on the events calendar and sign up, and we will send you the Zoom link. We're also hoping to put this on our Facebook page, so if you don't register ahead of time, you should be able to watch it. But Facebook, is Facebook. So We're hoping it goes live.
Yep. But that's also one advantage, too, to having been virtual is he's able to get musicians from around the world, or from around the U.S. at least, that would not have been able to probably travel here to just the South Lyon to do anything. Oh, yeah.
We've got folks from Chicago. We've got folks from California. They're all across the country. And Mr. Liebler has put out his feelers and said, you know what, guys, we can't do this in person. So let's put on a really good show for these folks who would be turning out if we could turn out anywhere. Yeah. We've got a couple other events, and that is also sponsored in addition to the Lift Every Voice programming grant, which is a national public humanities program. I have to plug our sponsors. Yep. It's directed by the Library of America in partnership with the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture, the National Endowment for the Humanities, the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation, and Emerson Collective. Excellent. And in addition to all those folks, the Michigan Humanities also pitched in a little bit of grant money to help bring ML Liebler and all these folks to the fold, so to speak. Excellent.
Well, again, that's a great way for different area foundations to come together, be able to sponsor that, and for the library to be a benefactor of it. But not just the library, but the community of South Lyon be able to listen in and check that out.
Yeah, and check our calendar because we have a lot of other events happening in conjunction with this grant, and also, throughout the rest of the spring. They're all happening virtual, but the Detroit Institute of Arts is going to be presenting about African American artwork. That's taking place on Tuesday, July 19th, and that's at 7 p.m. Again, register through our website to get the link. Yep. And we have the Library of Michigan doing 2 presentations for us. On Tuesday, February 2nd, they're going to be talking about the Michigan Manual of Freedmen's Progress. Okay. Now, this is another thing that I really wasn't familiar with until I talked with them. This book or collection of, it's a compilation of African American achievements in Michigan. And they put it together for the 50th anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation.
Oh, cool.
So they asked a whole bunch of people throughout the state, hey, what have we accomplished and what has Michigan done since the slaves were freed?
Right.
And it's amazing, the the farmers and the physicians and the government officials and the police officers and the strides that they had made in just 50 years since the freeing of the slaves. So he's going to be talking about that. Cool. On Tuesday, February 16th, they're doing a second presentation about Broadside Press. And that was founded in Detroit by librarian Dudley Randall in 1965. So we went from 50 years after the emancipation to now 1965. Dudley Randall puts together this publication company to publish the works of African-American writers.
Oh, cool.
And amazingly, it's still in existence.
Oh, really?
It's still publishing and focusing on fostering the works of poets. And so they're going to be talking about the history of this publication company and all the different artists that they published.
Yep. And I think today we take so for granted in such a virtual electronic world. I mean, there's still this aspect of publication that still needs to go on. So it's kind of neat that that has sustained itself over the years and has continued to provide such a great opportunity.
Yeah, we're one of the only local libraries, actually, who has a copy of this new book out, African American Poetry, 250 Years of Struggle and Song. It was recently published by Library of America in conjunction with this programming grant that we received. And it's 250 poets from colonial period to the present.
Wow. So
Paul Laurence Dunbar, Langston Hughes, Jean Tomer, Lucille Clifton, many, many, many more. Yep. I mean, it is a massive collection of poetry, but we're one of the only ones locally that has this because we received this grant. And it's been recognized on multiple Best of 2020 lists, including Time, New York Times, Good Morning America. They've all said, you have to check out this book and see what is included.
That would be neat to kind of see the progression of that poetry over the course of time as things have evolved. And again, very, very neat to look into what people were thinking, how they were reacting to what was going on around them. And
you definitely see that with the poetry and how the culture and the history of that time is reflected in what people are writing about.
Right. Excellent. Well, what else is going on there at the library coming up? So again, I know we've talked about a number of key events coming up, things that have been sponsored where we've gotten some grants and so forth. But anything else that we want to highlight as far as next on the horizon?
We're still doing a lot of stuff in the virtual platform. And so if you haven't checked out our Facebook website, certainly do that. We're hosting virtual story times. So the publishers and the authors and illustrators have been really kind, and they've continued to tell librarians, you know what? You can't do story times in person, in public, so we're giving you permission to do them virtually. Yep. And so we post stories on a regular basis on our social media. We have make and take crafts for all ages. So youth.
That's where you can show up the library, grab a little craft kit, and take it home and be able to assemble. Is that kind of the concept there?
Yeah, so the youth department is doing them for kids, where every week they put out, as many as possible, and it's kind of first come, first serve. But we also have events where you can register to pick up a craft kit. So you can reserve your spot for that. We've got homesteading programs online, so we'll post tips in terms of how to make your own bread, how to preserve and can your vegetables, what sort of cleaning, natural remedies you could use. And we have a slate of programs starting in February on seed saving.
All right.
It's a statewide initiative called One Seed, One State, where we'll be distributing seeds for folks to grow beans throughout the season and then hopefully harvest them and save the seeds for future use. And we have something I am really excited about is a representative from the Washington Department of Agriculture is going to be presenting in April about the giant Asian hornets that they have been fighting over in Washington State.
Oh my goodness. A topic I don't know I want to touch, but maybe might be interested to listen in on.
But you don't have to touch them because it's virtual environment.
That's true.
It's a fascinating, I am not a gardener. I have a plot of land about yay big, maybe smaller. And I'm just listening and watching and reading all of these stories about how they're putting little tracking devices on hornets that they've captured in order to find the nests and get the nests gone and save the bee population. And it's so interesting.
Yeah, it is.
So
It really
even if
is.
you don't want to touch a bee or a hornet with a 10-foot pole, you don't have to, because we're maintaining that social distance and it's all virtual.
That's where I can really appreciate social distancing is when you're outside and there are hornets or bees around. Again, it is. And gardening is very, very cool. I was able to grow some jalapenos and some peppers on my back patio this past summer.
Oh, so you were successful.
Those were my tomatoes, not so much, but those two things, I had my green peppers and my jalapenos turned out pretty well this year. So, but it is neat that you're doing a seed exchange or a seed program, and that's for beans, right? Any particular type of bean?
I don't ask me that.
Okay.
I have a plot of land this big. Come on now, Stephen, help me out here. my coworkers will just be like, Amelia, why don't you know the name of the bean? I'm sorry.
That's okay, but see, that's what people can now go to the library to find out, the library website.
Yes, you can find all that information out. And if you want to learn how to garden yourself, we've got tons of books on how to do it. Just don't ask me personally.
That's right. We all have our specialties. And
yes, and that is not
Amelia, gardening may not be our strength.
No, but we do have one more thing that I want to mention before we part for the evening. And that is we signed up for a new service through a company called BrainFuse. And so there's two different portions of this new database that we have, a new service that we have to offer. Help Now offers one-on-one virtual tutoring for students in K through 12. And so if your student is struggling in a virtual setting, or if they need that extra assistance and you can't find a place to meet a live tutor, you can log on to our website, and with your library card, you can gain access to individual tutors during the after-school
topic
hours.
Or subject that they focus on for tutoring, or is it pretty broad, or is it for? It's
pretty broad. There are different subjects that you can sign into. And there's also, some other tutorials and instructional matter that you can find on there. The other part of it is Vets Now. And I know by the name of it, it sounds like it's something specifically for military veterans. And they do offer services geared towards that, like coming out of the military and translating your skill sets for civilian work.
Right.
But there is also some GRE and some tutoring available one-on-one, again, for college classes.
Okay.
So if you're going back to school, or if you're at a college level, or maybe you're a high school student taking AP classes, or, any of those situations, that one-on-one tutoring would be especially helpful. They also offer resume review.
Okay.
So if you are trying to find a job or get back into the workforce or transition to a new field, you can submit your resume or your cover letter or any other writing sample and give them a day or two, and they'll come back with feedback.
Cool.
And it's a really wonderful service that we really want to promote, especially for people who might be struggling with their job situation right now, either due to COVID or just due to anything else that might be happening in their lives.
Yep. Excellent. So there's definitely no excuse for someone here in South Lyon or the surrounding area not to get out to the Salem-South Lyon District Library, because whether you enjoy music, poetry, gardening, need help with your resume, need tutoring, there's such a great suite of offerings there at the library, again, which is why the Salem-South Lyon District Library continues, I think, to be recognized as one of the top libraries here in the U.S. So again, we appreciate all the work you and the team do there. It is definitely a gem here for South Lyon, and we really appreciate you coming out here tonight, Amelia, and speaking with us a bit about what's going on in the next couple of weeks and upcoming, even off into the summertime, different events that are going on there at the library.
Yeah, we will still be doing summer reading. We don't know exactly what the format is. We're kind of waiting and seeing if we can transition to an in-person environment, or, it just all depends on what the numbers are doing and what the health departments and the state and the government says at that time. But it will still happen. Just put a little pause button on it for right now.
And again, the best thing to do
we're thinking that far advanced. You don't have to right now.
That's right.
So.
And if you want to find out more, again, the library website is a great place to go for, again, signing up for things, understanding all the services that are available and out there, or just being able to connect with your local library. And again, that is the website is
the website is ssldl.info. That's INFO. And you can always call us 248 888-437-6431. We will answer the phones during business hours. They are a little abbreviated as opposed to pre-COVID hours. We're open 10 to 7 Monday through Thursdays, 10 to 5 Fridays and Saturdays, and 1 to 5 on Sundays. And the Sunday hours were always somewhat abbreviated, but we are open on Sundays. And come in, see us, spend 30 minutes in the building. We'd love to say hi. But be aware, and we've been fielding a lot of phone calls, especially because of the holidays. We are quarantining still all of the materials that are returned. Yep. And so if you return something and it's still on your account for a day or two, give us a couple extra days, because we are quarantining everything from 3 to 5 days, depending on the format and the material type. Sure. And because we were closed for the holidays, some folks are waiting a little bit longer for that time frame to pass, because we got a lot of stuff returned after the holiday season. So
exactly.
So please, be patient with us. We'll be patient with you, and we will get through this all together. All
right. Well, thanks for coming out here tonight, Amelia, to talk with us. And again, look forward to checking you guys back out there at the library.
We're looking forward to seeing you. Thanks again.
Thanks.